75 overs of play on day 2 at the Oval have seen 15 wickets and 342 runs. You could say we've seen it all, and perhaps in this really seesawing Anderson Tendulkar trophy, this could be the most seesawing day of them all. Sanjay Bangar is here with us to unpack all the badness on Coin DCX presents ESPN Cricinfo Matchday. Mr. Bangar, thank you for your time. 204 for 6 is where India started this day. It feels like it was last week.
It does seem so, because the game tends to grow on you and very fast. But edge of the seat entertainment from both teams. Not taking a step backwards, because conditions were very, very helpful. India would be disappointed that Karun or Washington Sundar couldn't add more runs to their first innings tally, because having lost those 4 wickets quite cheaply, they would have been disappointed, because they would have thought that maybe a 260, 270 was well within their reach. And having said that, after being dismissed for under 230, the kind of punch that England openers came and landed on the Indian bowlers was phenomenal. So, good pullback, I must say, from the Indian bowling lineup in the second session. And at the end of the day, I think India is quite well placed, I must say.
Yeah, it finishes after all of that with India holding a 52-run lead, 2 down in their second innings. But at lunch on day 2, even some of the most optimistic Indian fans might have started to lose hope, because England's openers were basballing India into a hiding. They were going at nearly 7 per over, 129 for 1 in 21. But from there, India's pacers taking the last 8 for 118. That was quite special in the second session.
Well, one knew that except for Joe Root, this batting lineup can be an iffy batting lineup once the ball starts to dart around a little bit. And having no Ben Stokes, no Chris Woakes, if India would have picked up early wickets, you always knew that they could restrict the lead by a slim margin. So that happened eventually, but for that one has to applaud the efforts put in by the 3 seamers that India played. And for the majority of the innings, when around 50 overs have been bowled by a bowling team, you rarely see that the spinner or the 4th bowler has only bowled 2 and the bulk of the bowling has been done by the other 3 pacers.
Yes, the pacers had a lot of workload to carry. They also had some scars to carry, you would have thought, from the first session, the way Crawley and Duckett were going. But let's tuck into those individuals. Mohammed Siraj, the only pace bowling survivor from 5 tests, because Chris Woakes is now out of this test, to have put in all those yards, then having seen his first 4 overs pasted, to then come back and take this 4-4 at such a crucial point in the series. If England score a few more runs there, the series is out of India's reach.
Yeah, he's a player with a massive heart, and that heart is always there when the team needs him. And he puts a lion-hearted effort all the time. Shows what the kind of effort that he puts in, shows the kind of preparation that also goes through in his fitness routines as well, because to last that long, and it's not only this series. Now, if you are thinking of even the Australia series, he played all the test matches. In fact, his workload was equivalent or slightly bigger than Jasprit Bumrah, and now again a massive series, surviving 5 test matches as well, and bowling with the same venom and with the same rhythm and with the same intensity in whatever spells that he bowls. So a workhorse and a man to have in the team.
Yeah, and that is such an asset to a captain, to a team management, to have a pacer for whom there's not even a consideration of workload, which is such a big topic, because he will run in, and you know he will run in and give it all.
I think the workload factor may not come in for Siraj, because fortunately for India, the kind of injuries that Jasprit has had to endure in his career, those injuries haven't come to Mohammed Siraj, and that to me also is one of the points. The second point is because his action is more conventional. He does depend a lot on the momentum that he generates in his run up, and it doesn't take a toll that much on his body, because unlike Jasprit Bumrah, the mechanics are totally different. So that certainly helps in his longevity, but overall the kind of spell that he put in, wherein getting the wicket of Pope as also Joe Root in quick succession, and then when he was bowling his 8th over, having that awareness of getting that Yorker first up right, and getting the ball to swing back into the left-hander. I have seen him use that ploy a number of times against the left-handers. He rarely uses it against the right-handers, the swinging Yorker, but against the left-handers he gets it right more often than not.
And it's a very pleasing habit that he tends to step up all that much more in the games Jasprit Bumrah doesn't play.
Well, I mean, you don't want to go into that territory because both of them, these bowlers are match winners for the team in their own right. And I would say that whenever those two bowlers play together, then because the focus is so much on what Bumrah is doing or what he is doing for the team in terms of his performances, at times the performances of Siraj do get sidelined a little bit. It's like, when Sachin Tendulkar and Rahul Dravid were playing, Sachin used to get all the limelight and Rahul Dravid used to quietly do his job as well. So I would say a similar sort of a situation when Siraj and Bumrah are playing together.
Absolutely. Siraj didn't have Bumrah's company in this test, but he did have Prasidh Krishna form a great partnership with him. Prasidh Krishna with his first test 4-wicket haul, and you could say he's the one who initiated the collapse for India. He got the wicket of Crawley, but not just that, he tested Joe Root in that early passage of Root's innings, unlike most bowlers.
I think a massive match for Prasidh Krishna, coming on the back of being, sidelined a little bit for the 4th test match. The pressure would have been on him. What I liked about his initial overs is that he was trying to get the length fuller up, and in that process he also used his back of a length deliveries quite well as well. So what we saw in the various spells that he bowled, is that he was hitting various lengths, and the thing that you brought up about the kind of deliveries that he bowled to Joe Root, and now just Prasidh Krishna, his stock ball is slightly moving away from the right-hander, and if you err in slightly in line against Joe Root, because he likes to score in that cover point region so much, he's quick to latch on to anything. So not giving him that bit of width which he's looking at. For other batters you can certainly bowl that channel, but against Joe Root that channel is very tight, so he kept on bowling in that channel as well. So very, very impressed, number one for the various lengths that he bowled, and number two for the excellent control that he had on that off-stump line.
Yeah, it's one thing to trouble Joe Root with the ball. He also infuriated Joe Root in a manner we don't see happening too often. But you spoke about what he might have felt at having been dropped in the last game. That mindset also becomes a huge victory, because you're on a tour, you play 2 games, you leak runs in those games, your economy rate is quite discussed outside, and then you see a player fly in, reach the day before a test match and picked ahead of you. So speaks to his mental reserves as well.
It does, and I'm sure the team management would have spoken to him and tried and reason out why he was not preferred. But deep within he would have known that he has not lived up to his reputation, because he did gain a reputation with his performances in Australia, and coming here much was expected of him. Yes, at times he has been expensive, but he's also a player with that scarce resource of somebody who can hit upwards of 140 on a consistent basis from the Indian bowling stable. So that to me was always going to be the plus point for Prasidh Krishna to get his place back into the team, and it was just a matter of being patient and just a matter of trying to understand what can work better, or how he can improve a lot more in terms of the lengths that he can bowl. And it's always the case wherein if Prasidh Krishna can bowl a touch fuller on a consistent basis, I think even his back of length deliveries will become that much more effective.
All right. So well done, Prasidh Krishna. Well done, Mohammed Siraj, chief architects of the collapse, which saw England go from 129 for 1 to 247 all out. They were without Chris Woakes, and they will be without him for the rest of this test. But we can't complete the story of that English innings without acknowledging what happened at the start of it. Zach Crawley, Ben Duckett, 92 in 13 overs. That would be a good score in T20s at times.
And I don't think that the Indian bowlers expected what's coming at them, and especially on a wicket which was doing so much, swinging that much and seaming around also, to have come out and played with that sort of an intent and that sort of a clarity I haven't in recent times, in the last 10 years or so, uh, seen batting of that quality. And here you're looking at a Zach Crawley just standing upright and driving the balls through the line without actually moving his feet, or for that matter, the audacious stroke play of Ben Duckett, wherein yes, he played the reverse scoop, but after that, going down the track and hitting strokes through the offside as well. So that was terrific cricket. And for me, I don't think I want to be harsh on the Indian bowlers for that passage of play, because it was 11 overs and they got to 92. It wasn't as if, they bowled 20 overs and were around a score of 100 or so. Yeah. So it came in such quick time, and you just have to admire the quality of batsmanship with which they batted right at the top, and credit to India that they didn't really get affected by that onslaught after lunch, and they just stuck to that disciplined line really well for them to reap rewards later in the session.
India were perhaps in shock while those 10-12 overs were being played out, as you point out, but the vitality of rectifying that in come the second innings, because in a game of small scores, the margins are even smaller.
Yeah, I think if India has to look back, what they can do better against maybe a Zach Crawley is, can they use the short ball, which has caused some problems to some of the English batters, and you have a Siraj who can do that with the new ball as well. And another thing one could think of is, if at all you can get that outside edge also into equation, because what we saw from Mohammed Siraj in his first spell, or in the first 4 overs that he bowled, is that a lot of deliveries will look to be angled into the stumps or trying to hit the front pad of Zach Crawley. In that process, a lot of balls were driven down the ground as well. So that is one thing that India can look at. Maybe test the outside edge of Zach Crawley a little bit by having extra protection. Maybe remove gully and have the cover position there, and push the mid wicket or the square leg back, so that sow a seed of doubt in Crawley's mind that he's not going to get all the balls on that front foot. So I think that could be a learning against Zach Crawley. And against Ben Duckett, if you find that he's going to resort to the similar game plan, then as is the case when Rishabh bats, you may just have the fine leg and third man in place for him to think of playing shots down the ground instead of looking to score behind the wicket.
Right. It was only a 51 over long innings, but it had so much to dissect, that English batting effort. India, of course, have a lot more to do before they set forth with their plans for Crawley and Duckett come the second innings, because India's own batting second innings has started, and Yashasvi Jaiswal has got himself a 50. Man couldn't buy himself a run in the second innings before in this series. So big from that standpoint, but also the manner in which he's approached this innings, perhaps beneficial both for the batter's own style and the match situation.
And I also think that he's just moved slightly towards the leg stump as well. What we saw in the first innings, that he was literally covering the stumps, and in that process missed a straight one. But by staying slightly leg side of the ball, he's created a lot of room for himself to play those cut shots, which he did really well. And once the bowlers start to see the stumps, invariably they would come at the stumps as well, and that's where he drove superbly. I mean, some of the on drives or some of the cover drives that he played were absolutely phenomenal. So ominous sign from Yashasvi Jaiswal, and it was good that the kind of punch which was landed on India, a similar punch or a counter punch came from Yashasvi Jaiswal for India to get that sort of a lead, having lost those 2 wickets.
Yeah, his 51 not out as things stand has India at a lead of 52. For this lead to reach a place where the target becomes a challenging one, you imagine Jaiswal needs to bat a bit longer.
And most of the other batters will also have to chip in. Shubman and all the other batters, like this is going to be the last innings of the tour. And I mean, they would give it their best, as they've done in the past in the 4 test matches that they've competed. I would imagine that the wicket's going to be slightly better, and whatever evidence was there in the second innings, it wasn't seeming around or swinging that much. So I would say a score of 300. India would be looking at a score of 300, and any target above 275 plus in the last innings is going to be a challenge for England.
Yes, when we consider the roadmap for day 3, the forecast is expected to be clear in London on day 3, plus the factor of no Chris Wokes. These are two things India must capitalize on to get anywhere close to that 300-ish mark that you mentioned.
I mean, it will come to that eventually, because 3 pacers, and along with that, they have 2 part-time spinners, unlike India, who have 2 specialist spinners. So at this stage, even though both the teams match up on the 3 seamers and 2 spinners, but the quality in spin department is far, far superior, and hence I said that 275 could be a magic number for India, even though England in the past have chased down huge scores. But this is a team which has got Bethel at 8, who is an unproven commodity, and with no Woke. So tactically 9 wickets in the bag, and that is the reason I say in the 4th innings, when the Indian bowling is going to be at its best in terms of penetration, it would be a massive target for England to get past 275.
All right. Let's see where this one goes. It's been so hard to call anything in this series. Can't wait to see what lies ahead. Thank you so much, Sanjay Bangar, for your time. Yashasvi Jaiswal also had a catch dropped while he was batting, which completes quite a neat narrative arc. The first test of this series, Jaiswal was in the headlines for all the catches he dropped. Let's see if England pay the price for this dropped catch. We'll be back at the end of day 3 on CoinDCX presents ESPN Cricinfo Matchday.